Hey everybody, welcome to Awesome Life TV. I'm Stephanie Zamora, and today I'm here with one of my very good friends and someone who inspires me on a personal and professional level, Miss Carrie Hill. Hi Carrie.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited you're here. Do you want to just take a second to introduce yourself and let everyone know what it is you do, who you are, and where they can find you?
Yes. Well, first, I want to say that I'm really happy to be on Awesome Life TV and sharing the things that I'm going to share because it's given me such an opportunity to really reflect on where I was and where I am now, which is teaching women how to build a relationship with their money and use it as a tool for freedom instead of something that imprisons them. So I've spent the past couple years doing just that through coaching and speaking and a few online programs, just giving money a really fun, feminine approach.
Yes, yes, and you do, and I love everything that you do. And her website is carriehill.com, so definitely go check it out. And what is the name of the free guide you have right now? One Shift?
Oh, yes. This is so good. Beautifully designed by Stephanie, by the
Thank
way.
you.
It's called One Shift 25 Powerful Lessons in Abundance, Hustle, and Happiness. I interviewed 25, what I like to call lady ballers, women that are doing great things in the world and that are super successful, and asked them what was their secret or tip to shift from a place of scarcity to abundance. What's really happened in their life to get them to shift to that place? And some really awesome stories. Anytime I have a moment where I'm feeling down or I'm feeling like, oh my God, I can't do this, or I have a scarcity mindset, I pull that out and read through the stories, and it's just so awesome. So definitely go get that.
Yes, it's so inspiring. So today we're talking about, an area in your life or a situation where you need to take responsibility in order to be happier, healthier, or whatever. Do you want to give a little bit of a backstory about that situation?
Yeah, so I think the biggest one for me was in 2006, 2007, when I was in a job that I totally hated. Well, I won't say hated, but I was really miserable in it. I was a police officer and spent quite a bit of time there. And although the job served me at the time and it gave me a lot of really wonderful things, it, at my core, I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But I didn't know exactly how I would do something else. I mean, it was a good paycheck. I'd been there for so long. It was such a part of my identity. I had a home, I had a mortgage, I had family I was taking care of. And to think about getting out of my job was really overwhelming. But I'm also the kind of person where I feel like don't sit and complain about something every day if you're not going to do anything about it.
Right.
So after, a period of time where I remember getting my uniform on and looking in the mirror and thinking, oh, God, I have to go there another day, I thought, okay, this is enough. I'm not going to do this anymore. So that's when I decided that I create my own reality. And although at the time I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to happen, I started to move forward in the direction of what I wanted most. And before I did that, I actually, and anyone who's listening, I totally recommend doing this. I actually took out a journal and wrote out exactly what I wanted my life to look like. And it was like living in a condo in a city and doing yoga every day and, drinking green juices and carrying around a BlackBerry and, just the whole feel of like a great city life and being a powerful woman, entrepreneur, and helping other women. And I wrote it out and just started taking steps towards that.
Awesome. So what was the first step? What did you do to start moving in the new direction?
I knew that I needed to go back to school. So I started in law enforcement right out of high school, and I got just an associate's degree. And I wanted to make sure that because I wanted to teach money to women, so I wanted to make sure that I had a certificate in financial planning, and then I also wanted to get my degree in psychology. So I enrolled in school and went to school full-time and worked full-time and hustled my butt for a couple years. And then the other thing that I did was I wrote out exactly how much I would need to live for a full year without making any money. Because anyone who started a business knows that you're not going to be balling in the first year to kind of figure out how things are going. So I created my own little financial plan. And again, this was nothing fancy. It was in the pages of my journal and just started saving like crazy. I mean, I paid off my car, any tax refunds that I got, any extra money that I got from my paychecks, I just started socking away so that I could leave and comfortably start my business. So those were the two biggest things that I did to start moving forward. And it took me about 3 years to feel good enough and feel like I had enough of a net to leave my job and start this business. And some people are totally courageous and are like, I'm ready to go do this, and they'll just jump. For me, I did it a little bit safer and make sure I had quite a cushion.
Yeah, definitely. So, what kind of challenges did you run into? I mean, both while you were saving up for it. I mean, was it hard for you to stay in that job, knowing that you wanted to do something else, or was that easy because you knew you were kind of working towards something?
Well, because the vision for what I wanted was so strong, I mean, I was obsessed with this, creating this life. And I mean, it kept me up at night. So thinking about that and feeling so excited about that got me through my time in law enforcement. And also, I feel like that job gave me the ability to experience human behavior that I would never have been able to in any other job. So I really embraced that and looked at it as, what experience can I gain from this time here that I can take into my next life, I guess.
Yeah.
Although there were days where I really, really wanted out, for the most part, I was able to just look at it as a means to the next part of my life.
Yeah.
There were challenges. People, first of all, people never thought I'd do it. I first started talking about even the thought of leaving, never thought I would do it. Nobody leaves a good paycheck. Nobody leaves a pension or, great benefits. And nobody leaves a stable job. At that time, being in law enforcement was a stable job. Everyone needs police officers on the streets. So that, and then just not really knowing anything about starting a business or, I mean, I knew nothing. I didn't even have a Facebook at the time. I knew nothing. So all that stuff was very, very scary. Going out on this great adventure that it was really just totally unfamiliar to me and just a brand new territory. And then, from my family, being a police officer was such a big part of my identity. I no longer was just Carrie. I was Carrie the police officer, and my family treated me that way. My friends treated me that way. So that was hard to break from. Who am I if this is not how I identify myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that came up, but I will say that having that vision for what I wanted, it just kept pulling me forward, and I can't even totally explain it. It just felt, in my body, I just knew it's what I needed to do, and it just kept pushing me forward, even on days when it was really difficult.
Right, yeah. So then when you left your job, what happened next? What was your experience with actually stepping into this life, and what other challenges came up? I mean, I know you said you didn't know anything about starting a business, but what happened next?
Yeah, so I, along with you, applied to be in a mastermind. And I think that was probably one of the best things that I could have done. I actually chose a mastermind over grad school because not only did I have the tools to learn what it took to start a business, but I had a great support group. And I think that has been the biggest benefit for me. Going off into this new world, not knowing anything or knowing anybody that was doing anything like me, that was really scary. So I remember the first time that I went to New York and we met outside of Urban Zen back in 2010, I walked into Urban Zen, this was an event that Stephanie and I both went to, and I saw all of these beautiful women that were doing things like me and had aspirations like me, and it felt like home. So I think that was a beautiful step for me to take, to put myself in that kind of environment. I would not be where I am today without that kind of support, because there were a lot of people that doubted me, people that said, I'll be gone for a year and I'll be right back, in a uniform, and people that thought I was freaking crazy. Yeah. So that was really, really huge for me to just and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to find a mastermind, but just finding other women or men or people that are like you or that share your values and aspirations, and just surround yourself with them.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's been huge. So you made this change. You're living an amazing life now. You have an amazing business. What other areas of your life were positively impacted by taking responsibility and making this change?
Well, where I live now, it's interesting because everything that I wrote down in my journal that first time, I'm doing it. Like, I'm here, I've created it. There's so many positive things that have come of choosing this life. The way that I eat, the way that I exercise, the kind of people that I surround myself, the relationships that I've built over the past few years. It's the stuff that I read and the stuff that I study now, and the stuff that I'm into. It's affecting everything, even my love life now. I was able to release some toxic relationships that I believe if I was still in my old life and not so happy in my job, that I'd probably still be in them. It's almost as if so my life experience now, or I've moved up, like my expectations for life, or the way that I live. I've moved up. Like, what I do, I just feel a lot happier. I surround myself with people that are happier, and the people that don't want to be there with me are kind of falling off.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. Yeah. So I think that's what I love about my life right now. I feel very lucky every day when I wake up to be where I am and to think, oh my gosh, I created this. Because it would have been really easy to stay where I was and just keep collecting a paycheck, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I had a nice home. My life wasn't awful. It would have been easy to stay there, but I didn't. And now I just feel like it's just sunshiny. That works.
Awesome. I love it. So what would you say to somebody, whether it's a career change they need to make, or their health, or a relationship, or something in their life where they need to take responsibility? They're not happy and they know it. What kind of advice or tips would you give them?
Such a good question. So I feel like before I would have almost been a little bit preachy right now and a little bit judgy, like, you need to do something about this. And you need to just start taking some action and get on it. But the first thing that I think that they should do is find an example of what they want. So if it's a healthy body or a healthy relationship, or a new career or a business, find somebody that's an example of that. And I say that because I think sometimes we get stuck in our lives, and it's not because we're lazy or we're losers or something like that. It's we don't have a vision that's big enough, and we don't even know our possibilities. We don't even know that we are capable of having a great relationship or building a business. So watching things like Awesome Life TV and just looking for examples of what you want. Find an example of a beautiful relationship so that that's out there and that you can actually have it.
Yeah.
And then start taking action, very small steps to building the dream of your life. And it may take you a while, but I'll tell you, the journey is just as beautiful as getting to where you want to be. And then when you get there, set a new goal, set a new vision for your life. But just, start find that example, and then just start taking small steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And then with what you do for work, what tips or advice would you give people who need money in order to fund whatever it is they want to do? So maybe it's starting a business or anything like that, or traveling the world. What tips could you give them in that area?
Yeah. So the first thing that I want you to do, because money can be very, very scary and very intimidating to people, and we like to ignore it. So just look in your own financial mirror and just see where you're at. Very first step. Maybe you've got some debt, or maybe you've been overspending a little bit. Maybe you don't have the savings that you need, and start somewhere. So let's say that maybe you've got some credit card debt that you're not comfortable with, that feels like it's weighing you down. look at what the interest rate is. Maybe the interest rate is high and you can call and get that done. And that's the only thing that you do is just call and try to get a lower interest rate. Or, the only thing you do is maybe look through and see if you can find an extra $25 to put towards it every month. So just look in your financial mirror, come up with one thing that you can do right now. And then when you accomplish that, then you can do another thing. And just baby steps. And pretty soon you'll be a baller and feeling good. And, having all kinds of cash.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
And be sure to check out, what was that?
I was going to say, and make it fun. Make it fun. Like, I always like to talk about having dollar dates, right? So making sure that when you do look in your financial mirror, have a glass of wine with you, have some music on, and make it, kind of a fun experience.
Yeah, I love my money dates. They keep me on track and focused and feeling good about my financial situation. So, yeah, definitely. And be sure to check out Carrie at carriehill.com. She's got tons of great resources. Check out her free guide. Check out the packages she offers. She is just, you have transformed my money situation. I mean, just from the Date Your Dollars. So I am a big fan. Definitely recommend you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.